will get this folder. Open that folder. In that, so many subfolders are present. Copy all these subfolders. Copy all the subfolders. Go to your project location. Our project is, so it is full stack. Our project is full stack 4PM. In the project location, create a new folder called fonts. Create a new folder, some fonts. And after creating the folder, so paste all those files here. So all the files are present. So in your project, now you will have a fonts folder. That fonts folder will have CSS. In that, all.css. This is the file that you need to use for all symbols. So what you have to do is, now go to your project. So here in the head section, we have to link. How to link external style sheet already we learned. Link relation is equal to style sheet. And href is equal to, it is present in fonts. In fonts CSS. In that all.css. This will provide collection of all the symbols. You can get those symbols by using their classes. By using their classes, you can get the symbols. You can get the symbols by using these classes. So these are style sheets. How to link a style sheet already we know. CSS file. Now all.css contains collection of several symbols. You can get them. So various symbols you can get them. Now what you need to do is how to use symbols. You have to search here. You see, go to Font Awesome official website. In this website, you will find here search icons. In that search icons, you search for some icon home. And you can see it will get you those icon. That is the icon. And you see this is the home icon. You see several other icons are there, but they are not available for free. You have to purchase and use them. They are pro edition. So because Font Awesome provides both free and paid. So in free, you can use only these. You click on that icon and you will see they will give you the class name for the icon. Class is, don't copy this entire line. You have to just know the class name. Class is FAS space FA home. So you can use the class name as anywhere. Suppose you have home word. Beside that word, I want to display that symbol. Then how to do that? You can use any container. If I put paragraph and put class is equal to FAS and FA home, it will get home symbol. But you know that paragraph will have a line break automatically. So this word will come in the next line. So we want beside it, then better you can use a span. It depends on where you want it, in a new line or in the same line. So based on that, you can define, you can configure, right? So that is one important point you need to understand. So this is creating a responsive design. So that means this is an example of simple, basic Font Awesome. Now you will get those symbols. You will get those font awesome symbols. So by using these symbols, remember, so every symbol will not have FAS. Some symbols will have FAB, some will have FAS, like that. So you can add symbols with shortcut FA also, FA. But you cannot get every symbol with FA. For example, suppose I say Twitter. Twitter icon will come. So this Twitter icon, you can see it is not FAS, if it is FAB, FA Twitter. You have to use that class name and you can get those symbols. So this is generally how you can get the symbols. You have to search. You have to understand the class name and you have to use that symbol in your project. You can create a toolbar. In this way, you can create a toolbar and configure a toolbar. For example, how do we design toolbar? Let's see. Now, with this knowledge, so we have symbols now. Combination is there. Symbols are available. So let's go into the body section. And in the body section, I'm designing an unordered list. In the unordered list, we have list item. In the list item, we have the words like, so home. And in the list item, we have the option like, so like network. We have list item like contact. So we have a list item like social. Some options are present. Home, network, contact, social. Some 4 options are defined here. So these are general terms we are having. And these general terms will be displayed in an unordered list like this. It will display like this. Now what we are doing here is just beside that, the home, I will keep a span. And the class is equal to FAS is the original. You can use shortcut FA, but some are not available with FA. So you have to get a no exact name and use them. So your wish, even FA home, you will get a home symbol. And you can see that it gets a home symbol there. You can use FAS, it's actual. So that is also same. Similarly, suppose I am defining another class. So span, and the class is equal to FA and FA network. So we have FA network not there. So FA globe, I'm giving globe. Okay, this is the globe we are having. Fine. Now for contact, so we have span. So class FA and FA envelope. So I'm giving FA envelope. So that will get the contact symbol. And social. So I will give here span. So class is equal to FA Facebook. So Facebook I am giving, just Facebook is some option for social like this. Actually, it is FAB. Facebook is not directly available as FA. So you will get that. So these are some options and defined here. And you see here, so for these options beside the span, in the list item, these are the text we have defined. Now you can keep the text also inside a span, inside the span. So the network, the home, in a container, we are keeping in a container. So span, so contact. So, and here the span like social. So social. Okay, these are the options we have defined. Now, wherever unordered list is present, let's write a style. Wherever unordered list is present, list style as none. So list style is none. Now here we are designing the toolbar actually. So for unordered list, so we have width as auto. That means how much width the content is present, that much width it will get. Auto is the option. And here I defined some background color. So some dark cyan, that is the background color. So border as 2 pixel solid, that is the black border we defined here. For unordered list, it will get like this. And width, you can change according to the size. Suppose initially the width I given as some 200 pixels. That is the width of that unordered list here. You can give the width for every list item also separately. You'll see that. So how we can manage for every list item separately here. Generally, this is unordered list. So you can configure the unordered list in this way. Suppose background color width I am not giving for this, only border is defined like this. You can try here. So suppose list item width is equal to some 100, 200, because you can give it the style and border you can give only for list item. Your wish, it depends on your requirement. It will be like this now. Now you can keep this, some space adjusted with some space vertically. That means, so we can define, so background color, dark cyan, and the color as white, and padding as 20 pixel. That gives the appearance in this way. That is the list items that you have configured and defined for the content. Now, generally, what happens is the width, suppose it is 130 pixels, it will be in this. Now, actually, when horizontal, vertical orientations are present, generally horizontal and vertical orientations, we need to change appearance. So by default, here we have margin bottom, so 20 pixels, like this. Margin bottom 20 pixels. Here, if I defined width as some auto, then it will be like this. It will fit accordingly. How much content is there, accordingly it will fit actually. That means according to the browser, so it will fit. It will adjust accordingly. If I give standard pixels, means you can just give standard pixels, 120 pixels. That means every time it will be that 120 pixels here. Now this is the basic toolbar. So we designed this toolbar and defined here. Of course, so you can have border radius, so 20 pixel. It will give you the curve. So for list item, I can give font size as 20 pixel or 30 pixel, font weight as bold. All these options we are adding to make the appearance better. So suppose 23 pixels font size, like this we have. It depends on your requirement, how you want to configure that and use. Generally, what happens is the background and the width and the border that you defined. This is okay. So this is okay. This is for general. This is for general. Now, when I use landscape and portrait, the appearance should change. That is the main intention for us. We need to change the orientation for it. So basically what we do is, so we write a media query now. We write a media query. So media is screen. So media is a screen. And we have orientation. Orientation. Media orientation is a landscape. Landscape. So media orientation is landscape. It is screen and orientation is landscape. Then for unordered list, we will keep display as flex. So, and for list item, we will give here margin left as some 20 pixel or 30 pixel, margin left 30 pixel. So landscape orientation, it will be like this. Landscape orientation, it will keep the content like this. That's what I asked you to try actually. But here additionally, I am showing you the symbols. So landscape orientation, so display flexible and margin left will be 30 pixels. So portrait orientation, what should happen? Again, normal, we need to keep that. That means I'm giving here, so media screen and orientation. Orientation, we said portrait. Portrait. If orientation is portrait, then unordered list, so display will be block. It will be block style. So that means, so if I am adjusting that portrait means, so you are changing the orientation of your device. You can go to inspect. You see when the portrait comes, width is adjusted. You can see in the inspect here. Orientation you can change, toggle device. You can see this is the landscape and portrait, it will be like this. On landscape, it will be displayed like this. Portrait, it will be like this. When you are changing the orientation, it will adjust that. It will fit accordingly. It will fit accordingly. That means even suppose I adjust the width now. I'm adjusting the width and doing this. It's not defined because we are not using minimum width, minimum height like that. We are using just orientation. You can also give minimum width, minimum height, how we can adjust. We can also configure that. But orientation is important here. That means if it is portrait orientation, that means if I rotate my device to portrait, automatically the appearance will be in this way. And I rotate again here, then it will be landscape. It will be displayed in this way. You can change the orientations. Now, actually, we can do a lot of work. So, for example, suppose we have portrait orientation. So in that, you have a list item. In the list item, so we have a span. In the list item, we have a span. So in that span, you also have another span. Actually, we can give all these options with some classes. Suppose menu item is the class. Menu item is the class given for all these options. Menu item is the class. Now what happens is when you are portrait in orientation, so menu item class it will have display as none. Display as none. So display as none, that is nothing but when I change the orientation of this, when I change the orientation here, and automatically those symbols will not be there. That means those names will not be there. Only symbol will be there. Will not be there. That means you can see that the names are not present. You can adjust the width. Suppose, so for list item, so width is suppose 30 pixels. That means, so it will give that 30 pixels width for that. That means you can see that. So actually this is the width device simulation. I'm adjusting now. You can see on portrait, it will get only these symbols. When I adjust the width now, that means landscape. So then these terms will come. So when it is portrait, I don't want the words, these words should not be there. Only that symbol should be there. And I can change this, the symbols in this way. That means usually when we go to mobile like devices, we need like this. For example, what you can do additionally here is, so you can keep the unordered list. So as a background color, so dark cyan. And the entire unordered list background color is dark cyan. And you can see it will be like this. And list item, border as none. We are disabling the border for that. It will be like this now. You can adjust the width. So suppose the width is defined for 20 pixels like this. It will adjust that. For unordered list also, width we defined as 20 pixel like this. Then width will be adjusted in this way. Now this is a different appearance. This is a different appearance. Now you can see this is a toolbar. This is a toolbar. We can even make this unordered list as margin. Margin left, you can give minus, so 20 pixel. Minus 20 pixel, it will move left side. I can give minus 40 pixel. You can see it will move more here. Minus 50 pixel. Then it will be like this now. This is your toolbar, some special toolbar you have given. And this is the toolbar which is in a vertical position. And when I am changing the width here, so when I am changing the width here, automatically this toolbar transforms into a buttons like this. When it comes to top, the toolbar will be in the form of navigation buttons. And when it goes to the left, automatically the toolbar will be in this way. It changes its complete appearance. But its functionality will be same. Its functionality will be same. You can adjust more. So minus 60 pixels, then it will give like this. So that is how we can manage it. Actually, some more effects and options you can manage for displaying the content. So actually, we can add some more effects for this. For example, when mouse pointer is over, so that means you have unordered list. You have options like hover. So that means hover. That means unordered list I define as hover. So unordered list hover means generally this is mouse pointer is over. When mouse pointer is over, so margin left, we kept it as 0 pixel or 0 pixel again. When mouse pointer is over, 0 pixel. And we can also give as, sometimes you can also, if you want, you can display the symbol. So we can, for list items, menu item we can display again. That means we can display the menu item and show that. But we don't want to show that. So on hover, it will be again normal. That means mouse pointer is over, it will be displayed like this. It will be displayed in this way. Mouse pointer is over, it will bring that and it will show. We can keep those options also. For example, so when you can write like this, so unordered list, hover, and we have a dot menu item. So this menu item display as inline. We can keep that display inline. That means on mouse point over, it will display that the text will be there. We need to change the colors and effects and display. That means you can display that, and again you can keep the colors options also. But in vertical, we don't want to show that. That's the reason I am not using that. Only one left margin we are configuring. And this menu item, so we will not keep it to none. If you want, you can keep it, because by default menu item is none. So you can write accordingly. That means what you can do is unordered list. So if it is hover, so hover, so then that menu item display, so will be like inline, like this you can add. Usually that symbol will come here, and you can adjust the contents also. We don't want that initially. That is the reason we want to just put symbols. So display, you put as none. You have to configure the display as none. And you can see it is showing, that means it is defined menu item, dot menu item. Yeah, it is hidden there. It's not there. So now you are configuring the options and displaying the options in this way with this effects and all. Now what additionally we need to do is, you can keep it slow. That means what you can do is, on hover, margin left 0 pixel, it is immediately changing. I will keep here transition 2 seconds. When I keep transition 2 seconds, then what happens is, when mouse pointer is over, transition 2 seconds, already we discussed that on hover, then it will slowly open up this menu and it will hide it. So you can keep that. So in a normal also we can configure. In normal also how we can define. So generally unordered list, margin left, here also transition as 2 seconds. So now you can see that it is going to display in this way. This is the menu opens up and the menu hides. We can get that menu and display and hide this menu. User can select any option from there and display. Now when it goes to, so in this way, then it will be orientation changing, complete appearance also changing. Your wish, how you want your appearance, you can do that. You can take it to top, and on mouse over, you can keep it bottom and display that depending on your requirement. You can use all your CSS knowledge for this implementation. This is the responsive designs. That means when you are adjusting the width, it is not there. Adjusting the width, it is not there. It is only on orientation. So if you want to configure this on width also, then what you have to do is, here you have to write the conditions. That means if screen is, media is screen, and orientation is portrait. So you can also add, and you can add any number of conditions like that. Minimum width, how much, maximum width, how much, like that. Already I showed you max width, how to write the query and define them. Min width, max width, I showed you. Depending on the width also, it will change. That means you can write like here. So not orientation, so portrait. You can write like screen, and we said max width. So max width, how much? So max width, how much? Max width is suppose some 400 pixels. Like this we can give. That means it is not depending on orientation now. It depends on the width, how much width you are configuring based on that. I have to change the max width and I have to change to min width. I have to write both effects. Now the min width, it will give like this. It will give this like this. On the min width, it is displaying like this. And when I'm adjusting this now, and after that certain max width, it should adjust again. For that, we have to write above one more option. So here we need to change this landscape. So here we need to change this landscape to, so max width, how much? You have to define based on width. You can use based on width or you can use based on the orientation. We have both options. It depends on your requirement. Mostly we will see such toolbars on width and orientation also. So you can write for both. So this is the appearance for the contents. And you can test the orientation from inspect. Here you can test the orientation. Here device emulator will be there. So there you have landscape and portrait. You can see your toolbar will be displayed in this way. So this is landscape and this is portrait. We have little bit animation for that so that it will on mouse over, so it will display the content and show the content. You can see this is the device actually. When you select the device, so on the device screen, how much size it will be, it will show that. These are various device screens. And when you are adjusting responsive, here itself you can test. You can see. You select responsive, here you can test the toolbar, how it is going to display. The toolbar, how it is going to show. You can change its appearance. So this is mostly landscape, portrait, orientation, so to configure. This is a responsive toolbar. You also designed the same, but I given you some more additional things, how we can keep the icons. And because people who followed our HTML class, they already know these symbols, icons, how to keep them, how to design such toolbar. But people who lately joined into this batch from CSS onwards, they don't know the Font Awesome. If you are not aware of Font Awesome, then you need to know how to use Font Awesome at least now. So now using the Font Awesome with the help of our responsive concept, we designed a basic toolbar here. I hope everyone understood this. I will upload this into our classroom. Everyone understood this, huh? So I hope now you can design with more creativeness, right? You can design with more creativeness. So I will upload this into our classroom. Yes. This is a responsive toolbar. I will add today's example there, huh? Right? So that you can practice that. You can see it and practice it. Okay. This is in the public, we have toolbar 1. Okay, toolbar 1. That is what we designed today. So that HTML example that we designed, I am posting that so that you can go through it. So you can try similar to that. Now you can add some more options. Now this is generally how we can make the contents responsive. Now once you know, here nothing special, everything, all the concept what we have learned here, the same we are using it. Next, after understanding the responsive, we need to know about CSS 2D and 3D. So what are CSS 2D and 3D options, how to work with them? 2D is actually two-dimensional effects. Two-dimensional effects are nothing but, so you can scale, you can rotate, you can skew. So you can scale, you can rotate, you can skew, you can transform, you can say translate. So along X and Y axis. That means two dimensions will be there, X and Y axis. That means an object can move along X axis, Y axis. It can move along X and Y axis. So that is scale. That means two-dimensional effects. So for example, like we have a two-dimensional effect. So we have X-axis position, that is the X-axis and Y-axis. So X and Y-axis. So this is the X and this is the Y-axis position. Actually, along X-axis, Y-axis, suppose your element is present here. You can do a lot of work, like you can change the position of element on screen. You can move it from, so X position here or Y position here. You can adjust the height and width along X. You can adjust the height. You can adjust the width. So you can even rotate in specific direction. You can rotate in specific direction. Rotate some 90 degrees. So you can rotate some 180 degrees like that. You can define, that means depending on different shapes actually. These all things along X and Y axis you can do, that is two-dimensional. You have a three-dimensional effect also. In 3D, you can use a Z-axis also. This Z-axis so allows you to give 3D-like effects, 3D-like effects. So let's see how to use them. That means how we can work with these effects. How we can handle and work with these effects. So 2D, 3D effects, how we can configure and use them. So in CSS 2D effects, you have option called transform. Transform. So this transform is used to scale, means translate. Translate. Translate is nothing but translate will change the position. It changes the position. Translate will change the position. And we have options like translate will change. You have translate X. We have like translate Y and translate. You can give only X-axis, you can give only Y-axis, or you can give both X and Y-axis. You can change the position by using this translate. But one problem is there. Actually, these 2D and 3D effects are not understandable to old version browsers. So these effects may not work in a proper way if you are not defining proper plugins actually. Old version browsers cannot understand your HTML and they cannot present in a proper way. So your CSS effects and all. We need plugins actually. So generally the plugins that we need for various options, like actually WebKit. This WebKit is a plugin you need to add for browsers like Chrome. This WebKit is used for plugins like Edge. Edge also uses this WebKit plugin. If it is Mozilla Firefox, then we have MOZ, that is for Firefox. Actually, WebKit is now suitable for Opera also. Opera. Earlier, we have special plugin for Opera. O is for Opera. But now WebKit works for Chrome, Edge, and Opera. And it will work for Safari also. Safari. And we have the MS. MS is for Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer. So that means actually effect is only one, but we have to write 4 times. Same effect we have to write 4 times. Why we have to write same effect 4 times? Because we don't know on which browser he tries to watch our content. We don't know on which browser he tries to watch our content. In that case, we need to write for every browser. So there is nothing like universal. So you have to write for every browser again and again. Then only it will work. Otherwise, it cannot. So generally, this is very important to mention. While practicing, no problem. Because while practicing, you know on which browser you are using, and you are using some modern advanced browser, it will work. If it is not working, according to your browser, you give that plugin name. So that means I will show you how we can write that. In 2D, we have the options. Let's create 2D.html. In 2D, we have the options like this. So let's keep doc type HTML, HTML, header, title, and here we define CSS 2D. And let's keep the body section, and here we have an image. So image source is equal to from assets, some shoe.jpg. So width is 100 and height also 100. And this is the image. So I given an ID as pic. Okay, let's write the style for this. So we have style. And here we are defining. So hash pic. Okay, pic, it's actual. So transform, you define as transform. Transform, translate. We have translate on x-axis, y-axis, how much? Suppose, so translate we defined as 0 pixel, x-axis 0 pixel. If I give translate 0 pixel, it will go both directions, x-axis, y-axis. If I say translate x, it will be only x-axis. X-axis means horizontal. If I say y, it will be only y-axis. Okay, 0 pixel. That is initially it will be there. Generally, that is the image. So it is present there. Now what I am doing here, this is not understandable to every browser. That's the reason we have to write like this, WebKit. So WebKit, so transform. And translate, so x, so 0 pixel. We have to write that 0 pixel. Similarly, we have to use Mozilla, transform, MOZ, transform, translate, x, 0 pixel. So we have to write, so here as MS,